So 15 minutes.
Yes.
Oh my lord. Okay, well, what I have to show you, I can probably get it done in about 10, so I just want to spend a few minutes just asking you a couple questions, if that's okay with you. Have you ever gone off base for events before?
We've had a few off base, yes, but they just weren't up to our standards. That's why we're kind of looking for a new location.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I understand you've only got about a staff of 2, which is fine. That's pretty standard with some other event coordinators that we work with, but I'm really interested in knowing what some of their limits are.
Well, they are actually the ones that have planned all our events. The one went to school for event planning.
Very nice.
So that helps with only having a couple staff. Only we can fit a couple staff in our budget. At least one with a lot of experience helps with that.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. You know, is there anything that, you know, does your staff have any limits that maybe we could step in on, or?
I mean, the one's experienced, but it's just the whole numbers thing, like only having 2 people.
Power of numbers.
Yeah, like 2 people, like yes, they can know what they're doing, but that doesn't mean that they can physically do it all.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, and you know, moving on from that, what about your guest count? Are any of these events open to the public?
These are more like informational conferences for our own staff.
Okay.
So it's just basically our own people and any guests kind of that they want to bring, but they usually don't.
Yeah, for sure. What about members of the forces that come in from out of town? Does that happen a lot for these events, or?
Yeah, quite a few actually. Almost half of the people are coming from out of town.
Yeah, sure. So do you think you could benefit from us setting up a special raise specifically for out-of-towners?
Yeah, that would actually work out very well. Might actually bring in more people if they have a discounted rate, and then just save a little.
Yeah, no, we've got really good government rates, and
Okay.
I think that's something that we'd be willing to negotiate on as far as numbers go. So you know, just anything to help you out, really.
Yeah.
You know, I know that some events you can't physically bring off your property, but do you think you would benefit at all from maybe having a few of our staff members come to you? Like it would just be the same event prices that you'd be paying, and then we at the Holiday Inn would just be responsible for their wages, so there wouldn't be any extra cost on you at all.
Well, that would be beneficial. Any extra help, and by the sounds of it, any extra free help.
Yeah, no.
In a sense.
In a sense, the you know, the event costs would be more or less the same. Probably a little lower considering you're not physically in the hotel. So there would be a discount on that, and then possibly an advertisement premium, just so that people would know that your event is being hosted by Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
So. If you don't mind me asking, what's the average ballpark for wages that you usually pay your staff per event, just so that we have an idea? That way I can just move around prices and make sure that everything is within everyone's budget.
Paying my staff?
Well, yeah, I'm so sorry. That seems like such a personal question, I know. We don't have to answer that question. I can just leave everything the same as it is, and you can go over it later and for your final answer. You know, are there any other venues in Kingston that you may have been looking at just to?
Well, we are looking at one other property.
Okay.
It's still like, we've only had like 1 meeting or so. They seem kind of the same offerings at least.
Yeah. I'm not going to ask who they are just to keep it all within a perspective, but if, you know, based on the meeting that you had with them, is there anything that you're not completely sure of that maybe if I knew I could possibly do more for you as opposed to less?
We're just looking at like room numbers and what seating setup we can have in each room. and try to keep, obviously, the costs low. So if we don't need the biggest room to fit all our people, then that's
Yeah,
better.
well, we do, like I said, we do have the ballroom.
Okay.
And we do have a few overflow conference rooms that can fit up to 12 people. And, you know, there are a lot of little places around town that have their own smaller conference. So if you needed something within the middle, then for sure we could possibly move from that and it wouldn't cost you any extras. So
Okay.
that's something we'd be absolutely willing to do.
Okay.
So, in the grand scheme of things, if we were to move this along, how soon would you require our services? Like how?
Well, our next one is in, about 2 months.
2 months from now?
Yeah. The only thing is that we have to get the ball rolling because I don't make the final decision. I have to go with the prices and everything to the base commander, and then he has to, make the final decision.
Okay. So, your base commander then, he's just sending you out to meet people and then you would come in with the best options?
Yeah, because it's easier for me to filter through than him because
Yeah,
he's
no, absolutely.
very busy with everything else.